Hello, it's been a hot sec. I wanted to just see what you've been up to during these times.
Um,
How have things been going?
I always say when people ask how have things been going in quarantine, I say I'm still alive, and that's what
That's good.
matters. Yeah.
That's very true.
Although no, I feel like that's a little more morbid. Like things haven't been horrible. I have a dog, so
Ooh.
that helps.
Is this a new dog or
I got
you just
her literally right before quarantine. It was so like the universe aligned and Christmas, which was like 2 months before quarantine happened, my parents gifted me a puppy. And she is the light of my life. She's a little toy poodle named Reenie, and she has just been like such a help during quarantine. I know there's like actual science out there that says dogs make people happy. They like press the happy button in people's brains, and I can 1,000% attest to that because like this little fuzzy face, my god, if she told me to go out and kill somebody, like 100%.
absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, no questions
Uh
asked.
you wouldn't be able to maybe send a photo through Discord, would you, of this
Oh,
dog?
as a matter
I
of
would.
fact, I would be able to send a photo
I'd
through
love to see her.
Discord. I have I'm that dog mom that has an album of photos just titled Reenie on my phone.
Mm.
I love my dog so much. It has 500 photos in it. Oh my god. I have a severe problem. Okay, where's the cutest picture
No,
of
that
her?
that sounds normal. Yeah.
That's true.
Um. Yeah. No, having pets definitely helps for sure. Because oh
Right?
wow.
Look at that baby.
Uh.
She's on my bed behind me just like, "Who are you talking to, mom?"
So how would you describe her personality?
She is a prissy little poodle to a T. She doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
getting her paws wet. If it's raining outside, she refuses to go outside. But she's also super energetic and just full of love. Like her favorite place to ever be is just in my lap. She's
Mm.
100% a lap dog. But if she gets too much sleep, then she has the zoomies. And she's like a
Ah.
little Tasmanian devil. So she's a little frustrating sometimes. Like, as you know, being a pet parent, one minute you're like, oh my God, you're the moon of my life, my sun and my stars. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next moment you're like, I could punt you across a football field right now.
Yeah, like reminds me of our second cat Sophie, who is extremely cute but such a shithead. Like sometimes I'm like, I could like, I never would, but I could like beat you in a fight, right? You can't actually beat me in a fight because she really acts like it. She really loves to pounce and swipe. But she's so cute. I could never. It's like, oh man, if you were like a big bug, things would be very different.
Things would
But
be
because
so
you're,
different.
but because you're such a cute, fuzzy little creature, all
I
right,
know.
I'll allow it.
Literally 20 minutes ago, after going to the bathroom outside, she came and wiped her dingleberry on my bed. And I was
Oh
like,
boy.
did you just leave shit on my bed? I, okay.
Yeah. What else is it for?
Yeah.
Right.
She just wiped her ass on my bed.
Everything is for our pets' convenience in their minds.
It's
That's
true.
all.
I live for my dog and she knows it.
Yeah, that's the thing is they have that grasp on us. They're like, I know you love me, so I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
And it's fine. It's a mutual understanding.
Yeah.
Well, when you have free time, what have you been up to?
I've been super into Final Fantasy XIV free trial up to
Mm.
Stormblood right now. Got to plug that for all those listeners out there. But yeah, and like when I used to work at Overwatch League, I got into to Final Fantasy XIV because our work offices had like awesome gaming PCs, and I'd never had or even played on a gaming PC before. And I knew
Mm.
that Final Fantasy XIV was an MMO, and I was like, oh well, here's a computer I can use every day. I'll get into it when I have downtime at work. And a lot of my cosplay friends are super into Final Fantasy XIV. And so once I started getting up in levels and like really dedicating myself to it, they invited me to their Discord and they have me in their guild. And now we play like every day together, and the new expansion is dropping in November, and like there's Fan Fest, and it's such a wholesome community, and it's also like a way to just chat with your friends. Like we pop in voice chat and do dailies and weeklies and raids and stuff. So that's pretty much been my free time is Final Fantasy XIV.
I have a bunch of friends who play it, but I've never dabbled myself. What would you say is like the sort of TLDR elevator pitch of what appeals to you about the game so much?
Okay, so if you love Final Fantasy, then this game is for you, because not only does it pay homage to every Final Fantasy game, but it has the writing team of some of the best Final Fantasies, and it's an MMORPG that has a kind community, which is why I've been so scared of MMOs, because I've heard like WoW is toxic or like things like that. But I mean, my first week, you get like this little sprout icon over your head so people know that you're new. Somebody came up to me in the city state and was like, "Hey, are you new?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's my first week." And they gave me 300,000 gil and said, "Welcome to Eorzea," and then left. And I was like, "What?"
Damn.
Yeah, but that's not weird. That's completely normal. If you go into a dungeon and you say, "Hey, I'm new here," they're like, "Okay, ask if you have any questions. We'll take it slow. Let me know, like, oh, you play my old main. If you need any help with your rotation, let me know." Like, yes, there are some douchebags because like it's a video game. There are going to be assholes, but it's so rare. And usually if somebody's an asshole to like somebody who's new and you say like, "Hey, cut it out," people will back you up. They'll be like, "We were all new once, dude. Shut up." Like, it's like not only just a good Final Fantasy game, but it gives you such good vibes. Also, you can be a big titty cat girl. So like,
well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The trifecta, right? Final Fantasy, a nice community, and big titty cat girl. I mean,
exactly. It's the perfect, cross section between what we all need to survive.
Everyone who I know who plays it raves about it, and I've heard great things, and I can't say I'm not interested. So I've never done an MMO because for me I'm always like, oh god, I feel like I would put everything. I already put if I get really into a single player game, I put so much time into it. So I'm like, god, an MMO. It's tempting, but I'm like, but I feel like if there was gonna be one, it'd probably be that one, just because of all the positive things I've heard about it. Now,
if it makes you feel any better, Matt said the same exact thing to me. He's like, "I don't know, Mica, I can't do it. I'll never do it." I've been bugging him to play Final Fantasy XIV for 2 years.
Yeah.
A month ago, he was like, "I've cracked." And every time I log on, I see him on. And I'm like, "Haha, I've got you."
Ooh, that'd be me. Or like, that's what I feel about like, everyone's really into Monster Hunter, right? Like,
I'm also really into Monster Hunter.
Oh, man. See, I'm like, I feel like I can't, but maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see.
It's good. It's real good.
I hear it's good. Yeah. I mean, there's like certain games, right? Another big one that everyone says I'll adore, and I don't disbelieve them, and it's almost because of that I don't play it, is Hades. I hear Hades is great. And I'm just like, I don't know if I have time for that right now. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because I would just, if I get into a game, I don't know how familiar you are with like my habits, like with Stardew Valley, or have you seen any of my exploits in those? Yeah.
You go hard.
Yeah, I 100%. I will go 100%. And that just becomes all I do for days. So knowing myself, I'm like, okay, maybe later in the year. Maybe when I have a little more time or something. I don't know.
Yeah, if you know that you 100% games, I think definitely with things like Monster Hunter, especially because it's like you can grind for every piece of armor and every weapon if you want. Will it take ages? Yes. But will you feel super satisfied to see everything unlocked? Oh yeah.
Do you play that way?
No.
Okay. Got it.
But I do have like my main weapon, and then I am an obsessive armor grinder, and the desire meter is so brutal in Monster Hunter. I mean, I've killed like the same monster 15 times for one item.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. it's one of those, and it's also like after you kill it and you don't get it, it's just like gambling. You're like one more time, like this is it.
I see.
Yeah.
Going back to Final Fantasy, what is your favorite Final Fantasy?
I'm gonna be called basic, but my favorite Final Fantasy is 7.
That is not basic at all. I think 7.
Thank you.
I love 7. 7's great. Favorite character in 7?
Aerith, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Aerith is my favorite character. Hot take, I really like Aerith's character more in the remake.
Oh, okay. I've heard that from people.
She has a lot more personality, because Aerith used to not be my favorite character. My favorite character used to be Cloud, because I love emo soldier boys. I love Noctis. I love Cloud. The more they grunt, the more I love them.
Yeah.
But Aerith in the remake, they kind of fleshed her out and made her so more well-rounded, and they gave depth to why her personality is so bubbly and perky, rather than have it just be like, aha, she's Aerith, teehee, she's a healer. And so I've like super vibed with her more. I've always been thinking about getting a Lily tattoo, but after the remake, I was like, that's my next tattoo. I'm getting a Lily, like,
nice,
for sure.
What other tattoos have you gotten?
I only have one, but I have a million planned, obviously, because one tattoo is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It's on my inner arm, and it says "Go Beyond" on it. It's not technically a Hero Academia reference.
Okay.
It's half a Hero Academia reference and half, like, it used to be, ironically, like my personal mantra when I was younger. It was just like, go beyond, keep going, keep fighting, everything along those lines. But then after Hero Academia, I was like, oh, wow, okay.
You were validated. You were like, this is me. It's about me.
Exactly. I was like, I can go beyond. I almost wanted it on my inner arch on my foot, because the idea was like, if I look down when I feel defeated, I'll read Go Beyond.
Oh, okay.
But then I heard how painful foot tattoos were. And I was like,
because of the nerves, right?
Maybe not. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my wife got a tattoo, and she got another one. Yeah, I think she just wants more and more and more. They're cool. Like now you said you had a million planned. What are a couple that are like, ooh, besides the Lily? Any other ones that are like, I really want this?
Yes. The one that I've been planning since I was probably about 10 is I'm gonna get the coordinates of Disneyland and the coordinates of Disney World on the left and right side of my body, like East Coast and West Coast.
That's cool.
I was planning on getting them. I know it's gonna suck, but I really want them on like the side of my ribs, like under my arm. It's gonna fucking suck, but that's really where I want them. And it's because so we grew up at Disney World. Every year my dad would do Candlelight, which is like this Christmas festival thing where like one celebrity tells the story of Christmas, and there's a musical performance and like a choir and all of that. And so he would be the narrator every year. And we went to Florida to Disney World every year the day after Christmas for like 10 years. And we always had the same tour guide, who is now my godfather, because he's like such a huge part of our family, because you spend like 2 weeks with somebody every day for 10 years.
Yeah.
You get real close to them. And then living in Los Angeles, we used to go to Disneyland all the time. And my first stuffed animal was a Mickey Mouse. People used to call me Mica Mouse along with Mikachu. So like Disney and Pokemon are like my two cruxes of who I am as a human. So I was like, those are my two havens: Disneyland, Disney World, going on my body.
Oh, this has opened up a whole new avenue of conversation, because I'm a big Disneyland fan. I've been to Disney World twice. I'd like to go more. But Disneyland, annual pass holder.
Same.
Annual pass
rest
holder.
In peace.
Rest in peace.
Oh,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I'm waiting for the replacement. I'm waiting as soon as they announce, here it is. I'm okay. Cool.
Buying it.
Got it. You're right.
Yep.
Let me back
Shopping
in.
at the bit.
Yeah, exactly. What is your favorite ride? Let's say Disneyland to start.
Okay.
Favorite
Land,
ride.
Indiana Jones, because it's
that's
only
a good
at
choice.
Land.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second favorite though is Peter Pan's Flight.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
How about you?
My favorite ride is Splash Mountain.
Ooh.
And so
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, but we'll see. You know, I hope that they go balls to the wall with like design in the new one.
too.
You know, because I think Princess and the Frog is a cool idea, and let's be honest, probably a better theme than Song of the South. So you know, I'm really hoping that it'll be like how I feel about like Cars, right? Where I love that ride in the California Adventure. The Cars, what the fuck?
It's like Test Track, but better.
Yeah. I love that. I love the animatronics. I love that. So if they go full like awesome, you know, with the production, you know, as much as I'll miss the charm of the original, you know, I'm open to whatever they can bring. And plus, it'll still be at Disney World, right? They're not changing the one in Disney World.
They are changing the one at Disney World.
Oh, they are?
They were like, we should just get rid of racism here.
You know, that's good. So I can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
They were like, maybe, because I know it. For like ride changes, I was a naysayer of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride because Tower of Terror used to be my favorite Disneyland ride.
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you touch my tower? But then I rode Guardians Escape and I was like, all right, this is dope.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way because I love Tower of Terror in Florida. But that Guardians ride is sick. It's really good.
Sick. And Tower's still in Florida, so best of both worlds.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with Splash Mountain. But that would be my number one. Peter Pan. That's a good choice. Like
you can also recite all of Peter Pan, can't you?
I can. Yes. So it definitely holds a special place in my heart for that. But I just love the production value, the look that you feel like you're in the boat looking down. Oh, it's so good. Like I normally like I like the dark rides. I mean, I love like Pirates, obviously, but like, you know, like the simpler ones, like, you know, like Pinocchio and like Snow White. I'm like, yeah, these are fun, but Peter Pan is one where I'm like genuinely kind of like in awe. Like, oh yeah, this is great. I love it.
Flying over London never gets old.
That's
and it's
my
such
favorite
an
part.
old effect too. It's like it's clearly one of the older rides in Disneyland, but there's something so magical about it. I'll never forget. We did grad night, you know, which is like the Los Angeles high schools for seniors. You get a night at Disneyland after a closing. And I remember waiting in line for Peter Pan's Flight because it's always like 70 to 80 minutes, even 90 during regular park hours. But in a park full of just like high school seniors, it was like 20 minutes. So I was like, done, going.
Yeah.
And there was just something that caught me about flying over London, listening to the soundtrack, knowing that I was going to college and growing up.
Oh.
And I started sobbing the second we hit over the city. And like, just imagine like baby Mica as like the boat is coming into the end of it, like getting off the ride, like breaking down because I'm like, I'm an adult now.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, man. How about in World? What's your favorite ride in World?
Oh, Expedition Everest.
Oh.
Hands down. I know it's a rare pick, but it's because I love roller coasters.
Yeah.
There's not a roller coaster that's ever been able to scare me. Caveat, would roller coasters scare the shit out of me?
Those
but there
are
hasn't
intense.
been like
Yes.
Yeah, there hasn't been a modern roller coaster that's been able to scare me. It's not that Expedition Everest scared me, but I love that Disney World has something that's more thrilling than just dark rides or Snow White's mine carts, what have you.
Yeah.
And the fact that it goes backwards, so fun.
That's a good choice.
What about you?
Disney World. I feel like I haven't gone enough to like really know.
That's
but
fair.
Thinking back, because God, it's like it feels like I was there 10 years ago. At this point, it wasn't 10 years ago. It was like 4 or something. But because of pandemic,
But it feels like it.
It feels like that was 10. I feel like it's been 10 years since I've been to Disneyland. It's been about
same.
It's been about a year or two. You know,
Yep.
but it feels like, oh yeah, back in the pre-apocalyptic times.
I was definitely there in like last January, and I'm like, wow, that was 15 years ago.
I think my favorite in Disney World, just going off the top of my head, would be Tower of Terror. Then
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love the effects in it, and like Guardians would be like my second favorite here. So Tower of Terror then would have to be the one in Disney World for me, just because I still love the theme of it.
And in World, it's the extended Tower of Terror because it's bigger, and you do that going through the hotel track,
yes, which I love.
which makes it even better. And it has the randomized drops that the old tower didn't have in Disneyland. I hate how much Disney knowledge I have.
No, I love this. Have you been to Tokyo Disney Sea?
I have.
Did you ride the Tower of Terror there?
I didn't.
Oh,
Is it amazing?
It's cool. I would say if you ever get the chance to go back, I would say it's worth doing because they do, because I imagine just hearing you can appreciate just like craftsmanship even in the queue, right?
Yes,
so like in the
yes.
line there's right even before the ride they do this amazing effect with I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but it like
Okay.
yeah, before you go into the ride, there's just this amazing effect they do, and you're like, everyone is like, whoa, like, when it happens. So, like, and the ride itself is probably more similar to, like, Florida than, say, Guardians. Like, it's like a haunted, what was it, like a haunted museum, kind of? And it's like this archaeologist got all these artifacts or whatever, and they're cursed. It's that sort of thing. So it's fun.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I would say for, like, almost like a completionist, like you should do it.
I need to. Like that's when I was in Tokyo Disney with my parents. We went on a family trip to Japan. They were about to throw me into the ocean because the whole time I was like, this is different than the world and land. This is different. Oh my God, new content, new Disney content. Because for me, somebody who goes to world and land so often, the fact that there was new Disney content I hadn't experienced yet, I was losing my mind. I was like, what do you mean there's like Leagues Under the Sea rides? And I was in Agrabah, and like that was really cool. Oh my God. And
Did you ride the Sinbad ride?
I didn't. The sad thing is we had to split our day between land and sea.
I see. Okay.
Hilarious.
Got it.
But we got there at night, and a lot of things were like all the meet and greets were done at Disney Sea, which I was like, oh, I wanted to meet Jasmine. But I'm going back for sure. Like the first thing I'm going to do once Japan is letting foreigners in is like go to Japan for 3 months.
Yeah, that's how
like,
a lot of me and my friends feel that way too. Like as soon as we're able, we're just fucking going. Let's just go. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like, here's my passport. Don't talk to me. Goodbye. I'm out.
Next time you go to Disney Sea, Sinbad. It's a musical dark ride. It's all like it's Alan Menken like music, but it's all original in Japanese, and it's like the Adventures of Sinbad, and it's great animatronics like.
Ooh.
Like the songs are great, like and fully sung throughout. It's just like this whole story. Highly recommended. I was so charmed, and there was like no wait time on it. Like you can kind of almost basically walk in. Like,
hell yeah,
you gotta do that. Did you do Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That was the outside, just the craftsmanship and the architecture and.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Tokyo Disney Sea is just a chef's kiss of what technology and Imagineers can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful and just well thought out, and it's just so cool to see something because a lot of the lands and worlds are pretty much mimicked. Everything looks the same, you got your Adventureland, you got your Fantasyland, what have you.
Yeah.
But since Disney Sea is like a different product entirely, it's so cool.
Another thing I'd recommend. Did you go on the big boat?
No, we did not go on the big boat.
I would say go like eat dinner or lunch on the big boat because it's really good food actually. And if you get on there at night, you can just walk around on top of that big boat and just take pictures, and it's really beautiful at night. And you get a very nice view of the park as well. So
Also, next time we get to go back to Tokyo Disney, the new Beauty and the Beast ride is open.
Oh my god, I'm so
have you watched
excited.
The video?
Yeah, I'm
it's
so
excited.
Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland in Tokyo, so next time we go, I want to do that because that ride looks amazing.
I'm obsessed with the new magnet technology. The fact that the Beast and Belle are dancing and you can't see any mechanisms.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you ride the Pooh ride there?
No, is it amazing?
I haven't been. I hear it's great.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Hear that's an exclusive ride there.
So is the Ratatouille ride until they bring it to World, which they are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's like it was the first trackless magnet ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Mickey Minnie ride there now in World?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I would like to ride that as well. As much as I'll miss what's it called, the great movie ride, right? Is that what it was called? Yeah.
Great movie ride. Yeah, that one scarred me for life.
Yeah.
Because the alien drooled on me when I was a kid. When they still had it actively drooling goo. I think it's been defunct for like 2 decades.
Sure.
But it drooled on me when I was like a little kid, and I was like, cool, never doing that again. That's horrible. I'm scarred. This is the worst.
That's funny. Man.
That and the dinosaur ride.
Oh, the dinosaur ride. Yeah, that one's...
Whew.
I did not know, because when we went, maybe the first time, I was just like, we have some time to kill. I'm going to ride this dinosaur ride, and I'm sure it's just goofy. And then it's intense. I did not realize it was the Indiana Jones, like track or whatever. So I was like, fuck, this is intense for Disney's dinosaur.
I was just tall enough to ride it. I was probably 10 or 11. And my tour guide was trying to tell me, like, this is intense. It's a little scary, but I didn't want to just stand outside when my parents went. So I was like, no, I'm brave. I can go. Bitch. Why did I do that? I still can't ride it to this day. I haven't ridden it since because I'm still scared.
That's funny.
I'm an adult.
You should conquer your fear.
I should.
One day, yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up is because I know we're both big Love Live fans.
Yes.
I finally watched all of the anime, which I had not done before, and I fucking loved it. I don't know. Have you seen all the anime?
I have. Did you watch Nijisaki as well?
I did. I watched all of it, all the movies, all the shows, and everything.
Yes. Yes, it is so good.
Now, are you current with the Nijigasaki?
I'm not current. I'm like, oh no, why? What happened? Oh
no. I'm just wondering.
Oh, okay.
Because I know since we last talked, Nijigasaki is a new thing, but
it is. I am about 6 episodes in. I've seen everybody's intros.
Okay.
And then like pandemic hit real hard, and I stopped watching every week, but I know I need to binge it. But I have been playing the mobile game, so I do have like best girls.
So you play All Stars then?
Yes, I do play All Stars.
Got it. Who is your best Nijigasaki girl?
Okay, now this may be shocking.
Okay.
Because when a lot of people look at me, and I'm gonna see if you can guess my favorite Nijigasaki girl, because my 2 best girls in Muse and in Aqua are Nozomi and Mari.
Okay, I knew Mari. I forgot Nozomi. Okay.
Yes.
Let me pull up the girls. So, you want me to guess based off that information?
Based off of that information, can you guess who my favorite is?
Is it who would be the... There's like a couple... Okay, my first guess... Karin?
See, that is the exact That's exactly what I was hoping you would say, because at first when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's a model. I'm
Yeah.
gonna love her.
Sure.
Setsuna sniped me.
Okay. Yeah. Good choice. Because
Thank you.
Same hat. Same hat.
She is my computer background, as I'm the one that I'm talking to you on right now. She is so good, and I love
great.
her.
Yeah. Great songs too.
Yes.
Yeah, like she's fucking great. Okay, but you have another one, right?
Another best girl?
Yeah, you said two. Oh no, you said two best girls in referring back. Okay, but do you let's say do you have a top 3 in Yuji Kasaki?
I would definitely say Karin is number 2. She's great.
Okay.
I like Emma.
Okay.
I think she would be my 3rd best girl. Yeah.
Yeah, Emma's cute.
Emma's cute. How about you? Who are your top 3?
Setsuna is my first.
Hell yeah.
Second, can you guess?
Okay. Let's see. You like Kotori, don't you?
Not really. Actually, she's not.
Not really. Okay.
You want some background on my?
Yes, I need your other best girls.
So in Aqua, it's Riko, Yohane, Mari.
Interesting.
And in Muse, it's Ellie, Umi, Nico.
Then I'm guessing you like
the blonde, the jokey one.
Yeah.
Not top 3.
No?
Not top 3.
Okay, not top 3. I guess because she was sporty, so I was thinking Ellie, you know. But let's see. Okay. Do you like Ayumu?
She might be my least favorite, actually.
No. Okay, I'm so bad. Okay, tell me who your best girls are.
My second is probably Kasumi.
Okay.
Because she's a shithead.
The really cute girl.
Yeah. Or Kasumi is the one who's like always like, I'm the cutest, and like trying to be like,
yes.
I love her because I always describe her as like, it's fucking like Daffy Duck as an anime girl. Like she's always like, I'm the best, and everybody should like me. And
yeah,
she's
that's
just
true.
Great. I like her, and then I like Rina a lot.
Okay, all right. See,
okay.
Rina is adorable. I was very skeptical when the first art came out for the New Girls. Also, I was like, I can't do another Love Live. Like, I don't have it in me. I don't have the strength.
Yeah.
And then I watched the first episode and I saw Setsuna and I was like, damn it. damn it. But I like the backstory and like the personality they've given her in the anime.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
You know who I actually love in the game, though? Who would actually be in my top 3 is Shioriko.
Oh, right, the new one.
Yeah. I love her. She's great.
She's precious. Is she in the anime?
She is not in the anime.
Okay.
The anime has the protagonist character, which is interesting.
Yes.
But no Shioriko. Now, I'm not current on the game, so I'm not. I know there's like an American one, and there's like a Chinese one, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
there
okay.
are 2 new girls that are coming in. They're very, very new.
Yeah. They're kind of like antagonists, right, or something like that.
Yeah, they're kind of like rivals. Although, you know, the whole thing about this new anime is like, we're all different, but we can sometimes be an idol group, but focus on our solos. So I'm like, how are they going to make them rivals if they're not? Okay, sure.
Yeah. I think the anime is going just a different way, it seems.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I when I watched through all the anime, I was just enraptured with, especially Sunshine. I thought that season was so fucking good.
And the movie was also really fucking good.
Yeah, the movie was really good. I just loved it. I am actually not current on the phone game because I just kind of fell off of it, and then it's one of those things where once I'm on vacation, I think I'm just gonna go way back in, like grind like back to where I was. But yeah, for now though, I've been going into the shows. Now, I like to give the guest an opportunity. Is there a topic that you would like to bring up, or a question for me, or anything like that you can think of?
Yeah.
Sure.
I am super well. Can I do both? Because I want to bring up a topic and I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
So I'm super fascinated by it, especially because like my whole crew in LA is like voice actors.
Oh, okay.
But I've only voice acted once. I've only done it for a visual novel or a golf video game. But I'm just so interested in because I went to acting school and like I have classical training. I took voice classes, but how do you like craft your voices? You know, it's like it's so different from me as like an actor who like takes a book but is still myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm this character, but I don't put an accent to it or like, you know, it's just I'm just so fascinated by the process.
So the question is, how do I craft the voices?
Yeah, like how do voice act for dummies? Because it's just so impressive and awe-inspiring to me because it's just my brain doesn't work like that, and it seems so fluid and easy to somebody like you who's like some of the greatest voice acting I've ever seen in my life. So I'm like, how do you make look easy, sir?
You know, it's funny. I think a lot of it stemmed from I just had a general interest in voice actors even before I thought I was going to be a voice actor. So there was kind of that, right? Like when I was a kid, I would like obsessively like go memorize voice actors' names and like who they voice and recognize. I had an ear for recognizing who was who in cartoons when I was a kid. And then the interest in voice acting stemmed from I did a friend's radio play, and I really fell in love with the acting side of it. And before that point, I had like kind of a knack for like just doing different types of voices. I think it was just something I always played around with. I think oftentimes people are, you know, intimidated by like, well, I can't do like tons of crazy different sounding voices, but a lot of it really just goes from, well, just play around a bit. Like, how do you sound if you... Also, a lot of it is also, what do the sides say? What do the sides say? What does the character description say? So I often go, you know, usually start with age, maybe focus on pitch, and then personality of like, you know, well, if they're a crafty character, how do they talk? And oftentimes it'll be, you can draw like inspirations from other performances you've heard, or sometimes you just go with instinct, or you just mix it all together. Like, I don't know. I think part of the fun for me, even when just auditioning for something, is, you know, sometimes they don't give you a whole lot of information on how they want it to sound. So you have to go entirely off of either personality description or sometimes just the lines. Like, and going, okay, like reading through it once, if I were this character, how would they naturally sort of sound? And just playing with that. And I also think a lot of it has been over time. Just I've, you know, got with more and more experience. It's become like I kind of know. I always have like a gut instinct of how I think a character should sound. Like when you play like a game with no voice acting in it. Like, do you assign voices to the characters in your head?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's a lot of it is just kind of like that, right? Like, you know, before I was a professional actor, you know, I had a lot of fun like playing like Ace Attorney or whatever, and going like, okay, like, well, if this had voice acting, I think this character would sound like this, and then I would just, you know, do it out loud and give those characters those voices, and that just sort of naturally was experience and practice in its own way. So yeah, like I don't know, I guess that's a long-winded way of going. I just kind of throw a lot of things together and see what works, but I think I've also had like a gut instinct as well, just from, I think one thing that will help is if you just expose yourself to a lot of fucking shit, like nerdy shit, right? Like games, anime, cartoons, you hear so many different performances. So I think that can be a very valid experience on its own of just listen to what other people are doing and go, oh, okay, like, interesting. You know, that in itself can be sort of helpful.
It's so interesting because as a part of my degree, as a part of the conservatory I went to, we had to take dialects for a year. So technically, on paper, I can do any accent if I break it down into IPA and look at it really phonetically and logically, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's the reason that this is so fascinating to me as somebody who studied dialects in such a like numerical binary way is it's like you're like, oh, it's just the feeling, and I'm like, okay, but how does it break down in IPA? You know what I mean?
Yeah. With dialect, sometimes there is like a I mean, it can help very much to like just even basic breaking down of like, okay, like vowel sounds, that sort of thing.
Right.
I never claim to people that I'm an expert on dialects. I can go, do you want like an approximation of a dialect? Or like if it's a cartoon, it's like you don't care about actual authenticity to the letter on dialect. Like
right.
more of a feeling. Like I you know, oftentimes like instead of going like British for a character, which I could, like I have a sort of grasp on, but I can't claim to be like, oh yes, I know exactly like every single nuance to it. So it's like instead of going British, go Mid-Atlantic. You know, go for the vibe of it, and that in itself can like make it come across what you're going for instead of trying to focus on specific like gotta make sure I nail every single idiosyncrasy of a dialect perfectly, because chances are, unless they're a real, I don't know, I feel like most things are be like, it sounds good enough. we'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hear some things where it's like, oh, they really didn't care. Like, it's like, yeah. So, you know,
it's funny because like I often beat myself up a lot when it comes to like D&D and like doing accents or voices or like, you know, putting a tone to a character, and I'm like, oh man, that wasn't 100% perfect, like letting my college professors down. And then I watch shit like the originals, like the Vampire Diaries show, and they have a girl on there who's Australian doing quote unquote an Appalachian accent, and I'm like, you are just straight Australian. Like you have been employed for like 8 years on this show and you have not gotten dialect training at all. I'm fine.
Yeah. It's like, you know, as long as you're trying, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah. We're our own worst critics, you know?
That's also true. Yeah.
Yeah. But the topic I wanted to talk about, which kind of ties into it, is, you know, I'm obsessed with D&D. Have you fallen into the D&D rabbit hole yet?
I have not. My wife has very hard. I would say, I think it was during pandemic, either during pandemic or right before pandemic, maybe. She was like, "Oh, it seems fun," and like, you know, I have some friends who kind of want to do it, and now it's like her absolute favorite thing in the world. Like she, you know, plays regularly, has a group, and buys the books and all the shit. Like she loves it, and I'm very happy for her. I love board games. You know this.
Fair.
I love board games.
Yes.
But and the D&D side, I think the biggest barriers to entry for me is I don't care about high fantasy very much. Now I know you can do other, you know, things, but I think the other barrier to entry for me is actually combat. When I've played it once, and the combat didn't really do it for me. Now I know you're about to give me like 5 different things. Like, you could try this, and I'm curious to hear. Because I'm not opposed. It's not like I'm like, I will not play D&D, but
Right.
because there are aspects of it that I think are really cool. Like I would love to get into like the role playing of it, and like the whole like sort of building your or like following a story or a campaign. That is very interesting to me. Like weirdly enough, as like I am running my own homebrew Pokemon tabletop RP. So
That's incredible.
but I just made all the mechanics myself. Like, and so I don't even know, like, I don't have anything to really compare it to. But
Well,
yeah,
as you did say,
Yeah.
I do have some suggestions.
Yes, I would like to hear
The reason I
them.
bring this up is because I've totally heard that, barrier from a lot of people. I think that a good way to try and dip your toes into it to see if like maybe the more traditional D&D might be appealing down the road is I have a friend who homebrewed like a shonen shoujo jump type of like Naruto Hero Academia RP. Like it's 5e. It's Dungeons and Dragons 5e, but it's skinned to be like Hero Academia.
yeah.
And doing like a one shot at a high level where combat's more fun, because combat is not fun when you're like level 2. It's just not. But it's really fun if you have like a lot of spells and you're like a spellcaster and you're like level 16.
Okay.
Then
okay.
you're just like blasting shit and doing all this cool stuff.
Sure.
So one day we should get a cool like home game one-shot group together with a bunch of anime nerds that like tabletop games with like a homebrew type of thing. We can all be anime heroes and play a little, because that's, one-shots are a lot more role-playing too versus combat. There's usually like a tiny fight and then a boss fight,
I see.
and it's just about how we all interact as a group. But one day, I think that could be a really fun thing to do.
I'm not opposed, and I'm not even opposed. I think that would be fun, and I'm not opposed to, like playing D&D again. I would absolutely play it again. But I think it's just like there is an intimidation factor of like everyone who plays it has been playing it for like 10 years or whatever, like like forever since like they were kids, and just for me to be like, okay, but how does this like just the most basic like. It just seems like I feel like I'd be slowing people down. So
no. Let me let you in on a little secret.
What's up?
Everyone who plays D&D forgets how to play D&D. That is the most true thing I can tell you. Like even Matt looks at the rule book.
Okay. That's comforting to hear.
Oh yeah, and like I've been playing for 5-6ish years now.
Yeah.
Like regularly. And I'm still like checking my character sheet, making sure I do something right, asking my DM if this is right. And then sometimes my DM has to look up to see if it's right. It's like, it's just about vibing with your friends and like fighting evil and having a good time. Like,
Sure.
Even if you have to ask, how do you, like, where's your hit points or like, what's my armor class? Like, I've played games at a table where it was somebody's first time and it was like, somebody helped create D&D essentially, and everybody's there just to kind of like Final Fantasy XIV. Everyone's there to help.
Sure.
And it takes the intimidating factor away. I think it's just like going to Vegas. You have to play with the right people. You have to go to Vegas with the right people for it to be fun.
Yeah. I do think also, like you said, having it be skinned a different theme would also help me considerably, because like my wife loves the high fantasy stuff. She loves high fantasy. She loves vampires. She loves all that fantasy stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care. like
That's so fair.
And I know this is possible, but if it was just like we're chefs in a kitchen, or we're like like that's kind of why I love board games so much, is because board games encompass so many different types of themes. Now now that you're giving me the gospel of D&D, how into board games are you?
Oh, I love board games. I adore them.
What are some of your favorites?
I'm super basic, but it's only because it brings back good memories of college. But I do love Settlers.
Okay, yeah.
But I know that Ticket to Ride was a game that I used to play all the time. College was my entry to board games because I hung out with fencers who were all freaking nerds. And we would all hang out at the fencing house, and it would be like board game night and like tabletop game night.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those collaborative or competitive games were the ones that I played. I played like it's not called Pandemic. Pandemic? Pandemic?
Yeah, Pandemic. Yep.
Yeah, Pandemic. Yeah, we played like a lot of Pandemic, Ticket to Ride, Settlers of Catan, stuff like that. Like, what is it, House on the Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and I played one game for Geek and Sundry, and I forgot what it was called now, but it had like so many mechanics and miniatures and coins and cards, and it was like a $400 card like tabletop game. I was like, Jesus. But I love those. I love those ones where you're like there for 6 hours and have to take a break because it's like this huge campaign.
Sure.
But I would love some recommendations because I know that you are like the pinnacle of board games.
Yeah. I'll gladly give recommendations, and we should play in person sometime. We should play.
Yes.
Like I don't extend this invite just like willy nilly. I'm like, if you're down, like we should play. Like this isn't like we should grab lunch. We should grab lunch sometime. And,
we should get coffee.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm so ravenous to indoctrinate more people into board games. Like it is a serious, like if you have the interest, I can show you the world of, like I have stockpiled this, like all my friends are, I'm like, once it's safe, the tidal waves are about to pour out because I have amassed a literal pile of games I need to get played.
Yes.
I'm going stir crazy. But recommendations. So you like Catan, you like Ticket to Ride, Pandemic. Now, do you find yourself liking cooperative games more, or do you like against each other, or do you not have a preference there? You like any kind of game?
I do love cooperative games just because it's so rare that you're cooperating with people.
Sure.
So I think that coming out of the pandemic, I definitely want to play more cooperative games rather than versus games.
Let's see. Some ones right off the bat, I'm thinking if you like Pandemic, there's one called Horrified. You ever heard of that?
I haven't.
It's very fun. It's basically a cooperative game where it's what are they, like the Universal monsters? It's like Frankenstein, like Wolfman, like you're working as a group to like destroy them or whatever. And so like each monster operates differently, and you're going around the board, you're like, trying to accomplish the goals to kill each of them, and it feels very Pandemic in that way. So Horrified, I think, is and it's also very easy to get your hands on. I think it's even at like Target, which Target even has gotten, their board game selection has gotten nuts. Now, you're a D&D person, have you ever heard of Gloomhaven?
I haven't.
You haven't heard of Gloomhaven? Ooh, now
No.
This is deep dive. This is like this is an investment of time and money. But if you, it's a cooperative game. I get told a lot by people. It's very much like D&D, where have you ever heard of what a legacy game is? Mm-mm. Legacy games are board games where you play them over multiple sessions, like D&D, and you have permanent consequences. So, like, it'll be like, all right, put this sticker on the board after this decision you made, or rip this card in half now that you've made this decision. Yes, it's brilliant. So, Gloomhaven is a fully fantasy cooperative dungeon crawl game. You pick classes, you go through dungeons. There's like 100 dungeons in the game. It's one guy made this game on Kickstarter, and now it is the most critically acclaimed board game, like probably of all time.
Wow!
Now I suggest there's a new version of it called Gloomhaven: Jaws of the Lion, which I believe is it's like how to play Gloomhaven. So it's like a mini version where it's like, there's like, I think like 30 dungeons or something. And you basically learn how to play it, and by the end of it, you're playing full Gloomhaven. So if you have any interest in all and know people who would want to play that, that's a great one. But also, if you've never played Legacy games and you like Pandemic Legacy, imagine Pandemic, but let's say you finished the game, all the anytime there were diseases on the cities, those are permanent. So and also the really fun thing about Legacy games is they come with these boxes and envelopes labeled A through Z, and they're don't open this unless this happens. So it's you'll go through the first session of the game. You play the game once, it's January or whatever. It's all right, now open February's envelope, read what happens, and see what's inside the box. And it adds new mechanics and plot twists. So by the end of your experience, it's a completely different game.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I won't spoil anything if you do play this, but there's a season 1, season 2, season 0. But season 1 I've played, and there's crazy bananas shit that happens. You will open a box and read it, and you go no, what the fuck? And oh man. So I highly recommend that. Still one of my favorite board game experiences for sure.
You've hooked me with that. Got me with what the concept of a Legacy game is, and then you drop the bomb that Pandemic Legacy exists.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I gotta play that. That's so cool.
It's a whole genre. You said Betrayal at House on the Hill. I haven't played this one yet, but there's a Betrayal Legacy where I believe you play through generations of a family, in the house, the haunted house or whatever.
That's so cool. I can't believe that this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, listen, like I said, spreading the good word. I love spreading the good word.
Spreading the good word.
Yeah, it's a whole thing now. There's Risk Legacy. That was the first one. Have you heard of Clank?
Yes, I've heard of it. I haven't played it though.
It's very good. Have you ever played a deck building game? Not like Magic, but Dominion. You ever play a deck building? Yeah. So Clank is a deck building game where you're adding cards to your deck, but you're using your deck to move through a dungeon. You play this card, okay, I can move my character a step. And I play this, and I can attack a thing, and use this to get more cards. It's very fun, but there's a Legacy version of that as well that I've heard great things about, and haven't played yet because of Pandemic, the real pandemic.
Right, not because of Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah, the coronavirus. Yeah, so I'm just sitting on a bunch of these games, and
that's the thing about board games is you have to play it with people.
Yeah.
That's the one failsafe there. It's oh, you don't have people, hard to play a board game. But I'm very excited the fact that getting that juice in those arms, I'm all juiced up. I can start seeing friends and
nice.
Sitting in friends' laps. Isn't that the normal way to communicate with people? You just slap your hand at their face. I've forgotten.
Yeah, I think you just slap them around, just rub their hair, just just all that I think is normal.
All that, lick their cheeks, right?
Yeah.
That's normal human greetings.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, if you are interested and want to play, again, I'm always looking for more people to play with, and I feel a lot of these podcasts, I've just been you like board games? We should play.
You want to come over?
Yeah, we should play.
We should play.
Yeah.
We do live in the same city, so this is feasible.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're right around the end point here already.
Hell yeah. Look at us.
It's been a delight. Thank you for sitting down with me. Oh
my god! Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Where can people find you?
You all can find me at Mica BURTON, pretty much everywhere. I'm very easy and brandable. But I also have a side account on Instagram that's at Mica Strides, and it's primarily where I put all of my horseback riding content. I'm also a part-time equestrian. So if that is at all interesting to you and you would like to see the very adorable, black horse named Boo that I lease, and all of our shenanigans, head on over to there. But other than that, at Mica BURTON on Twitter, at Mica BURTON on Instagram. I don't really stream anymore because streaming killed my soul, but that's pretty
At
much
least you're
it.
honest about it.
Oh my God, somebody asked me on Twitter the other day, like, oh, Mica, why don't you stream anymore? And I was like, because I like boundaries and I'm sick of sharing everything in my life with the world and people that watch me do shit. So video games are for me now. No one gets to see me do that. That's why.
I'm glad to hear that you like realize that, and we're just like, yeah, gotta just do that for myself. Like that's very good. Yeah.
I'm like, maybe one day I'll do like a one-off stream if I feel like it, but like letting people into my world twice a week, every week on the date, like the regular, and have them interact with me in real time, I was like, I don't like this, and I shan't do it any longer.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out Mica and all that shit. And again, thank you so much.
Dude, thank you. It's been such a delight catching up with you. I can't wait until we either get to hang out and play board games or like run across a convention hall at each other full speed.
Hell yeah.